Welcome back. I want to show you some more about Google Classroom. In a future video, I am going to tell you more about what kind of assignments in Google Classroom. But in this video, I want to give you a quick tour of the Google Classroom settings because there are a lot of settings in Google Classroom that are really helpful. One thing that's tricky about Google Classroom settings is there are actually two different places to find settings. The first one I'm going to show you is your settings as a user. How do you, as a user of Google Classroom, want to experience it? And the second set of settings are your settings as a teacher for your Google Classroom. How do you want your Google Classroom that you are the teacher of to behave? The first set is over here. You can see I'm at my kind of landing page or the dashboard or whatever you call it that I come to when I just go to classroom.google.com. And over here under the hamburger menu on the left, I'm going to scroll to the bottom and I see settings. And here are my settings. You can see I can change my profile picture. That's me and my mom's puppy. I can change general Google account settings if I go here to manage. These would be settings that are true across all of your G Suite different features like Drive and Docs and everything. And then most of what you can do here is manage your email notifications. You can turn your email notifications for Classroom completely off. That is an option that you have. And notice if I do that, all these other mini settings underneath it disappear. Assuming I want some email notifications, I then have lots and lots of options for which notifications I want. I don't have a lot of email notifications turned on, and that's because I use the Google Classroom app on my iPhone. And so when a lot of these things happen, I'll get a push notification on the Google Classroom app. I don't need an email on top of that. That's not something that I need for the way that I interact with Google Classroom. But this is all customizable. And importantly, it's customizable for students too. Students have access to these same settings that can let them really narrow down the notifications that they get from Google Classroom, which is important because one thing that we've heard from students during this time of distance learning is the number of notifications they're getting are really overwhelming, and it's just turning into a lot of noise in their inbox. This is one way you can help them manage that. And they may manage this for themselves, or you as the teacher, knowing how you use Google Classroom, you may be able to make some suggestions to them about how they could use it. The second place you can find settings, you have to go to a specific classroom. I'm going to go back to the AP Statistics classroom that I've been using throughout my time making these videos. And now I see this little gear icon in the top right. This gear icon will take me to the settings for this Google Classroom. When I click on that, you see it looks completely different. Notice up here it says Class Settings. There's the class details. This is the stuff we filled out when we made the class. We can go in and edit those details. There's the class code, which is what we can give to students to let them join the class. Notice you can disable or reset that code if you want to change it. You can change your settings for the stream. So you can set it so that students can post to the stream, meaning they can make a new post in the stream, or that so they can only comment on existing posts, on posts that you've made, or that only teachers can post and comment. And that's up to you and how you use Google Classroom. Some teachers like to let the stream be a place that students can kind of have a social presence and influence. This is a really important one that came up after the video I made on assignments, where we talked about how some teachers have trouble getting the kids to look at the classwork tab. The students are just accessing their work from the stream, and then they're complaining that they can't find their work because the stream is really disorganized. And Kim Moody pointed out to me and reminded me that you can not post assignments to the stream. Like, you can turn that off. And if you have that turned off, students won't see their work posting up in the stream. It will force them to go to the classwork tab and cultivate that habit. So that's a kind of a positive thing. You can turn Guardian summaries off. Please don't. Please make sure your Guardian summaries are on. There's really no reason not to have Guardian summaries. They're an easy, no maintenance way to communicate with parents. This is also where you can turn your Google Meet link on or off. If this is on, I think it won't let me turn it on right now because I haven't generated it yet, but once I generate a Meet link, I can turn it on or off, and that will decide whether or not the link is displayed in the header of my Google Classroom on the stream page. And then there are a lot of grading settings. I usually don't use Google Classroom to average my grades or anything, so I would have this turned off, but you can certainly set this up and let the grade tab, which I haven't shown you yet, but I will, act just like your gradebook in PowerSchool. You could set up categories and you could show or not show students' overall grade in the course. Whether you want them to show the overall grade in the course is controlled by this toggle switch. And then, of course, here you can add grade categories. Like maybe I have a category called Learning Logs that I want to be 20% of their grade. And then maybe I have a category called Reviews and Previews that I want to be 20% of their grade. And then it says remaining 60% down here. I better put something in for that. I'll just put this for now. And then there's nothing remaining. Of course, I can use the little X to get rid of those. So these are my class settings. And these can be different for each class that you teach. You will need to set them up for each class that you teach. And there's not, like in PowerSchool, a way to easily copy these from class to class or anything, as far as I know. You can set this up once and then copy the entire class. That's not ideal. But that would be one way to do it at the beginning of the year. So these are your Google Classroom settings. If you know of some cool Google Classroom settings that I haven't talked about in this video, please let us know in the comments. That is how Kim Moody brought it to my attention, that you can just turn off notifications in the stream for assignments, which is a really valuable feature. So speak up if I've missed something, or if you have a hot tip you want to share about how to use your Google Classroom settings. Thanks.